So our technology is very, very simple. The basic premise is high tube metal temperature is the biggest problem in fired heaters. And most of the high tube metal temperature is due to localized flame impingement. Hot flue gases in the vicinity of tubes causes high tube metal temperature. Historically, fired heaters have been fired vertically upright, sideways, downwards. Our technology installs burner at a slight angle and reorients the burner flame away from the tube. It is based on a very simple concept, moving the flames away from the tubes. And when you talk of radiation heat transfer, the flames never come into the design or heat transfer. So by moving the flames away, we are not affecting the overall heat transfer. And in fact, we are moving towards uniform heat transfer. And this slide I'm showing you, you can see we have looked at the temperature profiles, and you can see the flames are in the center and rest is lot cooler zones all around the tubes, And that's what you want actually. You want hot flue gases in the center radiating heat to the tubes and having uniform heat transfer. So our technology is eminently suitable for existing heaters with ultra low NOx burners. We have seen that these heaters were originally designed with standard burners. When the standard burners were replaced with ultra low NOx burners, the heater started having hot spots and flame impingement. In most cases, the burner to tube clearance reduced, causing problems in operation. And it is not possible to enlarge the radiant section to keep flames of the burners away from the tube as possible. And we have overcome this limitation without increasing the cost of the heater, without changing the design of the heater, to put these burners at a slight angle of about 5 to 7 degrees. Most of the time, you won't even notice it. So flames of the burners, ultra low NOx burners, could be anywhere between 15 to 25 foot long. They could be even taller. So when we incline these burners, these flames start moving away from the tubes, and we increase the clearance between the burner edge, flame edge, and the tube almost like 1 foot for every 10 feet of flame length. And if it's a 25-foot flame length, we have added another 2.5 foot clearance between the burner flame edge and the tube, and that's very, very important. Also, we need to remember that flames are not uniform. They are widest at about 1/3 the height. The flame temperature profile is also varying. So in inclined firing, we may have burners close to the tubes, but the flames are moving away. And it's a very economical solution to eliminate flame impingement and reduce tube metal temperature. So in inclined firing, the burners are installed, maintaining enough distance between the burners to allow for flue gas recirculation. We do extensive CFD modeling to ensure that all flames are separate and they are not merging together. There have been some people who think that flames coalesce, but we have done more than 15 heaters and we have not had a single case. We make sure that extensive CFD modeling is done and enough care is taken care to ensure that flames are straight and separate. So we have not had any cases of any flames coalescing taking place in any heater. I want to show you a burner to tube clearance on a 8-burner system. And if you look at this chart table, you will see at 0 elevation or at the floor, the burner to tube clearance is 6 foot 4 inches. But as we keep on going up, and if the flame is 25 foot long, we have added another 3 feet clearance. So what we are basically trying to do is trying to keep the flames away from the tubes, and it really, really helps. And also the flames are not hot at the bottom, they are generally at 1/3 or 2/3 height. That's where they are more high temperature. So it really helps to keep the flames away from the tube. This is at 7-degree angle. This is a picture of a vertical heater, just a graphical representation, and you can see the clearance between the burner and tube in the vertical fashion is about 2.5 feet, and which we increase it to 5 feet. So another 2 feet we are buying, So that's basically what our technology does, just move the flame away from this thing. This is another one in a platformer heater. You can use it, and it's not just limited to VC heaters. You can use it in CRU. Here we are showing the 2 cells of catalytic reformer or platformer heater, which were big, and we can use burners in inclined fashion firing towards the center and moving the flames away. Very simple concept. Double-fired coker heaters have become very common in the industry. We find many are suffering from high tube metal temperatures from day one. The high tube metal temperatures have been caused by long burner flames and inadequate burner to tube clearance. We did a study for a client on their double-fired heater and found that the burner flames were almost touching the tube, or almost like 6 inches away. And we modeled the same burners at 5 to 7-degree angle, and we were able to see a big difference in tube metal temperatures. And the flames basically move away from the tube and start hugging the refractory. We increase the clearance almost by another 2 feet, and the TMTs come down by more than 100 degrees, which is a big number for a coker heater. And this firing pattern can be also used in new coker heaters without any extra significant cost. So very, very suitable. And you can see the flames over here. This is an actual study we did for one of our clients. This is another heater we have done for horizontal tube end wall fired heaters. We don't build too many end wall fired heaters, but it's an old crude heater with end wall fired burners. The heater was experiencing high tube metal temperatures, and we did the CFD to show, and you can see yourself the color of the flames. Red is basically, much concentrated in the center actually, and the tubes are experiencing a lot lower. We even did it in ethylene crackers actually. We did a modest CFD model of a furnace, and you can see the difference in a vertical firing and inclined firing. You can see in our model, the flue gas temperature is a lot lower, and as compared to almost like 100 to 150 degrees lower, and the tube metal temperatures are also lower, and the flames are firing a lot more towards the wall actually. So it can even be done in ethylene crackers if the high tube metal temperatures are an issue. And I know ethylene crackers have a big issue with tube metal temperatures. So today we are going to be talking about a case study on a crude heater. And this is a case which I first told you about when we started. So we got a second chance to look at in 2014 to look at that heater again. The client had gone ahead and replaced the existing burners with new ultra-low NOx burners and air plenums in 2011. Now, even after doing that revamp, they were still having lots of issues in the crude heater. So they contacted us in 2014, and we did the study and later on the project. So this was the vertical cylindrical balanced draft heater with common air feeding system. The heater was originally built in 1976 and revamped in 2000 and again in 2011. And client was facing a number of problems, was facing capacity limitation due to high tube metal temperature. The situation was so bad that they had wrapped some of the radiant tubes in ceramic fiber blanket. They were having flame impingement, and it was leading to soft coke deposition in radiant tubes. The client had other issues like combustion air maldistribution across burners. The client could not get full capacity. So we did an engineering study to improve the reliability of existing crude heater, improve performance of existing burners, mitigate flame impingement. They wanted us to restore the capacity of the heater. The heater was firing, facing combustion air shortage during the natural draft operation. So we looked at several ways of improving the heater reliability. So this is the heater design, original heater design and existing heater design. Original was 133 and they had already expanded the heater to 162. The charge rate they had increased from 50,000 barrels to 80,000 barrels. The number of fluid passes they had changed from 4 to 8. The flux had increased from 12,000 to almost like 14,000. What they did on burner side was the original heater had 8 burners of 22 million BTUs each at 8-foot BCD, and they had changed to 12 burners, 16 million BTUs each. When they did that, they had to increase the burner circle diameter because these were ultra low NOx burners, so they went to almost like 11 foot 8 inches or an increase of 45%. And as a result, the burner to tube clearance was lower by about 2 feet. And this was not even meeting API. So this heater, they gave us operating data for this heater. And let's look at the tube metal temperatures. They were exceeding 1100 and sometimes even 1200. And if you look at it, we analyzed 4 years worth of operating data when they started. If you see over here, the temperature is close to about 800 at the start. And as you keep on going up, it goes up to about 1100 degrees. Then again, they clean the heater. It comes down to about 700 degrees or so, 800. And then again, it goes up to 1100 degrees within a span of 1 year. Again, they clean it. So it was becoming a big problem for them. You expect crude heaters to be running for at least 5 years. I mean, if you have to shut down the heater in 1 year, it's going to be causing a lot of profit loss. So the high tube metal temperatures were really, really acute. We carried out the CFD model of the existing burners and tried to understand what the problem is, and then we kind of worked on the solutions. So the client had 3 major shutdowns in September 2010, July 2011, and January 2014. They were not able to get outlet temperature of 700 degrees. It was running 57 degree lower. The maximum tube metal temperature was exceeding the design value by almost 150 degrees, so they were almost reaching. They were at the maximum allowable tube metal temperature. The heater operation was severely limited, That's basically what was the situation in this crude heater. So this crude heater was a vertical cylindrical heater with 22-foot tube circle diameter and 62-foot height. Burners were installed at 11 foot 8 inches burner circle diameter. The burner to tube clearance should be 5 foot 6 inch, and they were only having 5 foot. And when we started looking at it, we said we would like to change your existing burners and put them at an angle. So we went in with new ultra low NOx burners and did the CFD modeling at a lower burner circle diameter to increase the clearance from the burner to tube, at least meet API 560. So we analyzed the problem and kind of recommended these simple solutions. The first was how to solve the flame impingement problem. So we said we will put new burners on tighter BCD, use inclined firing, and we will use CFD to optimize the BCD as well as the inclination. So we ended up doing about 6 iterations of different angles and different BCDs to arrive at the best combination. We looked at the plenum and we redesigned the plenum, simplified it, and made sure that all the burners are getting equal amount of air using CFD. Then they were having limitations on natural draft, so we put fresh air doors, redesigned and relocated. And they were having combustion air limitations, so we recommended them to put a new FD fan, of a higher air capacity. So that's basically the modifications which we did for them. And our inclined firing is, we came up with 10-foot 3-inch burner circle diameter, and you can see we installed burners at 7-degree angle. We started with 5-foot 8-inch clearance, which is little more than APF 560, and by the time we went to 25-foot flame, which was what the burner vendor had promised the flame length to be, we were at additional 3 feet. So 8-foot 9-inch clearance is what we created for them. So we were able to create, and even between the burners, we were able to create a big gap. So I want to show you now some slides of CFD model. We did extensive CFD modeling to come out with the optimum BCD and burner angle. The existing configuration, if you see, had a big flue gas recirculation taking place in the center. If you see over here, this was the flue gas recirculation pattern taking place, and it was pushing the flue gases down straight into the tube. That's what was happening. So that was basically causing the high tube metal temperatures or hotspots in the display. And if you look at our design in inclined firing, basically there was no such recirculation pattern forming, and it was forming much above, in the upper 1/3. So that's basically, you can see side to side. Now, the important thing is flue gas temperatures, and here you see the hot flue gases going directly into the tubes. You can see over here, this is where the flue gas temperatures are impinging. A hot flue gas temperature almost like 2200 degrees. And if you see our design, it's much different. You have much cooler flue gases going into the tubes. The hot flue gases are concentrated in the center. And also, if you see in the existing design, the top half of this thing had very low temperatures. And if you see over here, we tried to make it a lot more uniform. So that was another major improvement we did by putting burners at an inclined fashion. The good thing with CFD is once your model is built and simulation completed, we can study the flue gas patterns, temperature, CO concentration at any cross section, horizontal or vertical. We compared flue gas temperature profiles every 5-foot elevation. At 5 foot, you can see compare side by side. And when you compare at 10 foot, you will see that the hot flue gases are in the tube. Actually, if you see over here, this is basically, you see the high temperatures, and if you compare this, there's a total difference, stark difference between the two configurations. So we did this at 15 foot, also in 20 foot. And here you will see something very strange happening. You will see the cold flue gases is in the center and hot flue gases are outside actually. If you see over here, the hot flue gases are on the outside and cold flue gases in the center. Same thing happening over here, Whereas this is what we come up with, that the hot flue gases are still in the center, cold flue gases outside. Same thing at even 20-foot elevation. So very different heat transfer profile with inclined firing. We got much more uniform heat transfer profile. We did it even at 30 feet and 40 feet, and you can see the difference. I mean, I don't have to explain to you, they are all self-evident, We also looked at CO concentration, and typically in the industry, any concentration of more than 2000 ppm or red color is flame. And you can see at 5 foot, the situation is not that bad, but at 10 feet elevation, the situation is very, very bad. You can see over here. You know, the flames are kind of spreading all around. And whereas in our case, the flames are centered in the furnace. You know. And here at 15 foot, you could see the flames are almost in the tubes, you know, and the core is the cooler. So the flames all around and core is whereas the burner should be there, you know. And you can see the difference, you know. In our case, it is much different actually. We have hot flue gases in the center, the flames are in the center, and cold flue gases, no CO outside. So the flames are kind of restricted, you know. So we did extensive CFD modeling, convinced ourselves, convinced our client to ensure that once we put these burners, high tube metal temperatures will be history. You won't have any issues, you know. So in CFD, typically anything more than 2000 ppm or 2500 degree flame temperature, flue gas temperature is considered as flame. And you can see the existing space where we have these flue gases, I mean the flames impinging on the tubes, and that's where they were having this thing. So it was almost like a cloud into the tubes. And when we did it, you can see everything is in the center, you know. Now flames did become little longer, I would say about 4 or 5 feet, but everything was contained in the center actually. And we also did several models. We looked at the TMT models. What we do is we take the FRNC heater simulation output and put it in our CFD model, Fluent model, merge the two or marry the two. And then we see, and here you can see the flux radiant tube metal temperature profile and existing and revamped actually. And I can show you we have almost like 60 degree, 65 degree temperature reduction. Now, in reality, in real life, we got more than 100 degrees reduction in tube metal temperatures. The heater has been operating successfully for last 5 years without a shutdown. No flame impingement has been observed. So this shows you the flux profile in the 3 sections, top 1/3, middle 1/3, and bottom 1/3. And you can see we were able to reduce the bottom flux from 20,000 to 15,000 and increase the middle 1/3 from 11,000 to 17,000. So we made it a lot more uniform as compared to what they had before. And the overall heat flux still remained the same. So there was no reduction in heat transfer in the radiant section. I just want to tell you once again. So in summary, there are several benefits of inclined firing: significant reduction in tube metal temperatures, low coking rates, higher tube life and run length. You don't have any flame impingement. You don't have any hot spots. In most of the cases, we are able to increase the capacity also, and uniform firing achieved across the tube. So uniform heat transfer is possible through inclined firing. This picture is from our first installation at Delek. You can see the ultra low NOx burners in an inclined fashion. This is just to give you a little history of our references. The first 2 heaters, we installed it in 2010. Then later on, we installed it at a very large crude heater at CIPCO Corpus Christi, which was having tube failures. We installed this in 2012. We have installed it in HPCL Mumbai in 6 heaters, and they have been working very nicely. We installed it in CountryMark DHT charge heater, and when we did that, we increased the capacity of that heater by 60%. We did a new hot oil heater for Gladio with 6 burners at an angle. Bolero is the one which we presented you the case study today. Then we did another project at Sasol. This was a brand new heater where we put 12 burners in an inclined firing. That heater has started. And all these projects have been working very, very successfully. And I just want to let you know that this is a very simple concept. We want to show, that's what we wanted to show it to you today. We are very confident if you use this technology, you will get rid of hotspots and flame impingement. You will be able to extend the life of tubes. You will have a very good performance. So if you have a heater which is facing issues, it could be any heater, it could be coker, cracking, crude, we would like to evaluate and let you know whether inclined firing is a viable option. Well, thank you very much for giving me a patient hearing. I am very sure that you must have learned a few things today. Please send your questions and I'll be more than happy to answer these questions for you.